Morning, guys. I'm recording this in the morning. I'll be upset. I said I'll record it yesterday, but I did not have time to do the recording yesterday. So try to put you guys through the whole data modeling with Power BI. So first, I'll be opening my Power BI desktop application. Go there, click on A, look for P, Power BI desktop. We're waiting for it to load, so give it a few minutes. Okay, a few seconds rather. So you all know this is the front page of the Power BI desktop application. So click on new, like you can see here, click on new to create a new report. So after here, we went through all these stages with you in class. You get data from another source. You can see it here. Since we are trying to demonstrate data modeling, so it's possible we have to import multiple amounts of data, multiple data sets into our Power BI, so that we can model that data and form a relationship between this data. So try to do data get data from other source. So click on there, and then we can come here, and then we see the folder. Click on the folder, we connect to a folder. So here we have to input the folder path, or the path to the folder we want to import. Click on browse, then we go to that particular directory. Mine is here, and then I think something a little square. Now click on that, and then this is my folder, transaction data. Click on OK. Yours, if you have downloaded it, you should go to your downloads. It's in the Google Classroom. You can download the data and use that to follow up. So you know your folder path should be in the in your downloads folder. After downloading the file in the Google Classroom, you should unzip that file so that you have the whole thing coming out as a folder, not a zipped file. So click on OK. So it should pop up something. Yeah, it should show us the files that are inside this folder. You can see we have the two names of that file here. We have transaction data 2019.slsx. We have transaction data 2020.slsx. So I want to transform this data. Most of the time you can just combine and load. You can either combine this data, you can load, you can transform. All these options are also valid, but most of the times, 90% of the times when we are working with Power BI, you always want to transform your data first. So I'll go for transform data. You should open the Power Query Editor window, and inside the Power Query Editor window, I can choose to wrangle my data, I can choose to manipulate my data or clean my data any way I want. So on this window, you can come here to content. You see content, and just at this just this button over there, I don't know if you can see that. Try to zoom a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, try to zoom a little bit. You can see this particular button here. This button says combine files. So this is the button we click on to combine these two files together. First, when you can try to visualize your file using Excel, you see that these two files here, transaction data 2019 and transaction data 2020, are just transaction data that happen in these both years. And for each of these files, both of them have the same headers. That's why we can combine them together. So both of them have the same headers, that's the same features. That's why we can combine them together. So I'm coming here under content, I'm combining the two binaries together. Click on that. So I should see something like this, evaluating my query. So we have that. So on this page, I can choose to visualize my data to see the first 200 rows of my data to see if it's actually what I actually want. So I can see this, I can choose to go to the next file, that's 2020, to visualize it and see if this is what I want to combine. You can see that for sheet 1 in 2020, we have this particular headers, 2020 data. Let's go to 2019 here, so I have the same headers in sheet 1. Can see that 2019 also have the same headers. So these are the files I want to combine. If we have any problem with the headers, it will be difficult for Power BI to combine those data set together. So I click on OK and move on. So after clicking on OK, can go over to the Power Query Editor. I think it should be applied in the Power Query Editor. And come here and then see it here. So we have our data set all combined. If I click on this particular place, we have my data from 2019 down to 2020. Yeah, all combined. Make sure there's no error in between. Where is the beginning and the beginning of 2019 and the end of 2020? Make sure there's no error in between that. So we have this from December 31st and then the next day was January 1st. So we're okay with that. So we can see that data is alright. There's nothing wrong except that we don't need this source name in our data. See, when we get when we import data like that, it always keeps the source name, but we don't want to work with that. So we can easily delete that. You right click on that header and then you click on remove. So we can also notice this panel, the query settings panel at the right hand side of our data, at the right hand side of our Power Query Editor. We can see this query settings panel just registers all the steps we have taken so far in wrangling our data and from importing the data from the source files to the removed columns, which I have just done. So it just registers all those steps down. So and under here we can always change the name of this data. Let's say we don't want to call it transaction data anymore. We can change the name of this query to something else, but I'll leave it this way because it's actually our transaction data. Or I can let me just change it. I'll call it data modeling practice. So I can do that. So that if you don't find your query settings panel, for some of you that might be following up or following through what I'm doing, if you don't find your query settings panel, you can always come to view here, view button here. You can see that. Try to zoom on that. You can come to view button here. Once you click on that, you see something at this top left corner called query settings. Once you toggle that, you should have your query settings panel come up. So I'll go back to home, and since there's nothing else to do on our data, I'll load my data this way. So I can click here on apply and close and apply. So once I click on that, I should have my data imported to Power BI from the Power Query Editor. So I can click on that, close and apply. So we have our data imported into Power BI. We can see it here, data modeling practice, just as we named it. And inside data modeling practice, we have quite a few headers. We have account number, we have amount, we have date, we have product number, and we have transaction ID. So we can see it just registered here. We can have that here. So we also have I can come over to this left corner. We have something they call report view. The report view is for creating your data visualization, is for generating your reports, for doing your dashboards, and for building custom visuals. So we have that there. We have a table view. This is to view our table. These are basically the old data modeling. This way our data modeling practice is going to be taking place. So we have table view. This is actually to view our table. If you click on that, we have our table here. So just visualize the table, do anything you want to do with the table and whatever it is. So, and here is where we're actually going to have the model view. So the model view is the one that can help us model relationships between our data. In this case, we have two data sets matched together into a single data. So we have a single data file here, and in this particular model. So we want to try to form relationship between this particular table and other tables, which is the whole concept or the whole importance of this particular tutorial or training course. So now we want to get more data set into this particular table, into this particular Power BI, to model relationships between this particular table or this particular entity with the other ones. So once again, we try to import another Excel workbook still in that data modeling folder you downloaded from the Google Classroom. So we click on Excel workbook, and then we can come here. If you go straight to that folder, you'll see this particular data set inside. We have the accounts and we have the product. So I'm going to import these two folders one by one. So I click on accounts, I open it, and then it should automatically load into this particular place. So once again, we can choose to visualize what is in the accounts folder, in the accounts .xlss. Inside the sheet, we can choose to see what is there. So we can see that we have 4 accounts inside this particular data set, and each account have an account number as an account name. We have for stationery, we have for electronics, we have for office features and office decor, furniture and office decor. So we can choose to load this data. Since we don't want to do any sort of transformation here, we can choose to load this data into our environment. So I think that should be applied once. Yeah, so we have this, so I would also want to okay, I've tried to move the relationship first. Yeah, I also want to import the second Excel workbook, which is the product data, and then I import that, and inside our sheet 1 we should see something like that again. So let's pop up here. So we have for the product, okay, the product sheet is named as product. So we have can count as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13 products here. You can just load that. We don't need to clean anything there. So wait while it load. Yeah. So the same thing. Try to delete that for now, since it's coming by default. So we can try to see our data. I think we can come here. Let's just visualize what our product data is. We can see that in our product data we have about 13 products with each of their IDs called their product number. So you can see that a single row is unique. There's no one row appearing more than once. There's no single row appearing more than once in this data. And then we come over to sheet 1. You can see we don't want to call this sheet 1 anymore. Let's call it account. So we can name that account. Yeah, that's the name. You can see in our account we have just 4 unique accounts. We have 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, and 8,000 accounts. These are the account number, and we can see that as usual each entry is unique, or each record is unique. So if we come over to our data modeling practice table, you can see that we can, in our product number, we have many of these accounts appearing. We have all accounts. We have each of these accounts that is in our product number for our product table appearing. These are 13 here, but in product number in our data modeling practice table, you can see them appearing more than once. You can have 1,000 appearing up to 3 times in a row or 4 times in a row, and then we have them on and on like that. The same thing goes for account number. We have just 4 unique values for account number, but we have them reappearing and reappearing just here in account number in Power BI in our data modeling practice table. So it shows that in this kind of relationship, we are trying to model accounts to data modeling practice. On account number, we have a one-to-many relationship from accounts to data modeling practice. We have a one-to-many because we have just 1 unique values here. For account number, we have just 4 unique values here for account. We have just 4 entries here for account, and all of them are unique. So we can model that as a one-to-many relationship with this. So if I come here, I can try to generate the relationship between these two data, because now we are trying to model relationship between data modeling practice and account. So we can come over here and see something like this here. Under relationships, we have something they call manage relationships under the home tab in Power BI. So you can come here and click on manage relationships. Once you click on manage relationship, you click on new, but there's also another option to auto detect. This one automatically detects each table and form the relationship between them. automatically. But I want to go to new, click on new, and then just right here I can select which of the tables do I want to model, which one do I want to put at the top, and which one do I want to put afterwards. So I can choose to pick any one. From here I'm going with my accounts table first, and then I'm going with my data modeling practice table, and then automatically it has identified those two headers. So I can just say that click here if it is not selected, and click here. That's account number to account number is what I want to merge, I want to use to form the relationship between these two tables. I want to form the relationship based on the account number. So we can see that it's a one-to-many relationship because there are many of them appearing here, but it's always a single entry here is unique. So you can see that the cardinality is one-to-many. It's a single cross-filter direction. So I can choose to make this relationship active. It is not checked yet. Make sure you do well to check it in yours. I click on OK, and then I click on new again. That first one has been formed. I also want to try to form the relationship between product and my data modeling practice. So once I come here, and then I click on product, and then the same thing goes. I go for data modeling practice, and then the same thing, select both headers which are you want to form your relationship on. That's product number, and also select product number here, because that's how we want to form our relationship. So we select all this, make this relationship active, and click on OK. You see the next relationship appearing here, and then we can click on close. Excuse me. Click on close. So automatically that relationship activated. So now we have both relationship to the main fact table. We have these dimensions. We have the product dimension, we have the account dimension, and we have the facts table here. So that's how we model in Power BI. So with this, you can see based on the symbols I showed you guys in class that this is a one-to-many relationship. We have one entry that is a single occurrence in this one is linking to multiple occurrences in our data modeling practice table. We have a single occurrence of a particular product in our product table. It's mapping to multiple occurrence of that particular product in our data modeling practice table. So that's like a one-to-many relationship. So from here you can choose to go build visuals with these. You can, because now you have modeled that relationship. Once I come here to my relationship, once I come here to my report view, you can see all my tables here, and since all of them have been modeled together and that relationship has been formed, I can choose to bring any field from here, any field from anywhere, and visualize them with one another. So I can choose to visualize the prices per product or the prices per account or total amount that an account has spent on the product so far. I can choose to visualize the total amount of each product that have been bought, or the prices that have been bought per product based on the amount. So I can do that, just drag the amount into my value field just for practice sake. You can see the total sum of amount just like your pivot tables. You can see the total sum of amount here. You can see it. We have, I think, 2,231,321,734. So you can go through that, and then I can decide to visualize my account based on my account. So you can see it here coming as for each of the accounts, electronics, office Bicor, and office when you have the sum of amounts splitted across that. And then if I want to visualize, I can decide to visualize using a bar chart, and then we have this like this. So it's just so easy to work with. So I think in next class we're talking about Power BI fully. You can see now I can decide to model because of that relationship between them. I can visualize my account based on prices. I can decide to view my product based on prices. I can work with these three data all together because they have that relationship between them. That's the essence of building relationship between our data sets if you have multiple data sets to work with. So I hope you guys understand. If you don't understand, or if you don't get how these relationships were made, if you have any question whatsoever, do well to send it as a comment on the Google page.